Hello, my extremely good friends. It's Roger, and I am going to be talking to you today about possibly the most important thing in your entire life. And I'm serious now. This is your health and the health of your children and the well-being of the people around you. And when I say that, it is not that difficult to become healthy, and it is not that difficult to become extremely ill. And it basically relates to your brain and your gut. Really, it's your gut, and it's how your brain interacts with your gut. Now, this is from Johns Hopkins. I went to Johns Hopkins for genomics, just consequently, no relation to this, but they are the only ones that I'm seeing now that are taking an active role in trying to push this, the brain-gut connection. Because you can't really find too many people talking about it. I don't know whether they want to avoid it because they know that it can cure people, or they're avoiding it because they just don't know about it. But anyway, it says if you've ever gone with your gut to make a decision, felt butterflies in your stomach when nervous, you're likely getting signals from an unexpected source, your second brain, which is this vagus nerve gut connection. Hidden in the walls of the digestive system, this brain in your gut is revolutionizing medicine's understanding of the links between digestion, mood, health, and even the way you think. It controls literally 100%, 100% of your health, well-being, attitude, your mind, everything. Now, and Hippocrates said this thousands of years ago. Now, scientists call this little brain the enteric nervous system, and it's not so little. It has two thin layers of more than 100 million nerve cells lining the gastrointestinal tract from the esophagus all the way down to the rectum. I'm going to show you this, and it's going to be kind of gruesome, but you'll see it. Now, what does your gut's brain control? Well, I can tell you it controls 100% of everything. It's unlike the big brain in your skull. The small brain can't balance your checkbook or do all these little fancy things. Its main role is controlling digestion, from swallowing to the release of enzymes to break down food, to control the blood flow, to help with nutrition, absorption, and elimination. Let's read that again, because I went fast. Its main role is controlling digestion. It's controlling your digestion. Everything, from the time you put anything in your mouth, you start to secrete juices. These juices are designed to interact with these foods to break them into a position where your body can absorb them. Now, all the way from swallowing to the release of enzymes. Well, what are the enzymes? We know what swallowing is. Enzymes break down food and control of blood flow, helps with nutrition, absorption, all the way down to elimination. So, you take this stuff in, you start to release enzymes. Well, enzymes are released as chemistry, and that chemistry actually cracks into these molecules, and then it sort of works the blood flow into this matter slowly, quickly, whatever it takes to absorb the nutrition and eliminate the waste products and reabsorb the water. And all of these things are done in the tissues of your body in response to chemistry. And a chemistry is predominantly a product of your digestive system dumping it in there. And it doesn't just dump it in with a little spoon of this and a spoon of that. It says to a bacteria, it says, hey, you got to go make some of this stuff. He said, what do you want me to make? And he said, well, the guy just ate some oats. You're going to have to make some of this lactobacillus and some of this Prevotella, whatever it is. And they just make it. and then it breaks the stuff down. Now, if you don't have the bacteria there, you can't make the stuff. And it really is that simple. All right, we're dealing with autism. We're dealing with all kinds of mental, emotional situations. Now, this ENS may trigger big emotional shifts, this enteric nervous system, and which is controlled by bacteria. It may trigger big emotional shifts experienced by people coping with irritable bowel syndrome. That's your gut is not doing its job. The bacteria is overwhelmed, or you don't have the right stuff. It's irritable. It's not functioning. And functional bowel problems such as constipation, diarrhea, bloating, pain, these are all issues with the digestive system. For decades, researchers and doctors thought that anxiety and depression was related to because you had bad gut. Or in other words, the problem is your gut is making you feel bad. It's not that you're feeling bad because you have a bad gut. That's what it boils down to. So they just had it backwards. They have everything backwards. And they honestly, I'm telling you, it's almost impossible for them to get to pay attention, even though things are so obvious. So you do this on your own. Otherwise, you're going to be told things that aren't going to be correct. And, think about yourself. Think about what's right in your gut. Once you're right in your gut, then they might tell you need a new, whatever it is, something, But until your gut is right, I don't care what they tell you, it's not going to be correct. Not going to be right. Because if your gut's not right, you're going to have issues somewhere in your body, 100%. It could be skin. It could be literally anything, and here's why. All right, when they say it's the little brain, it's really the big brain. This is just the interpreter between all of these functioning systems. All the way down to the vagina, the penis, the bladder, the kidney, the rectum, the intestines, the pancreas, the spleen, the stomach, the gallbladder, liver, lungs, heart, salivary glands, your eyeballs, your ears, every single thing is controlled in here. Now, all of these things require biology to make them work. They all require some maintenance here and there. What's in there is the maintainers are the bacteria. All right, listen to me. If that bacteria is not in there in appropriate quantities, and you usually have both sides of the coin, you got one, it's still in there, and it wants to hurt you. And then you have another one in there that says, don't worry, I will protect you. Once you take antibiotics, you may kill the one that's in there that says, I want to hurt you. But you also kill the one that says, I'm in here and want to help you. Now you've got an issue, because when they start to come back from the dead, who comes back stronger? Usually it's the one who wants to hurt you. Now, if you can't get all your bacteria back, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of different strains, and there are literally trillions of individuals. If you can't get them back there in the correct places, and they all have stuff in every one of them, and you don't get the right ones back, something's going to go bad. Now, when we started in with giving people probiotics and so forth, one of the big things they were talking about was green poop. And you say, well, why would somebody have green poop from taking probiotics? Is the probiotics green? No, the probiotics aren't green. They're not starting to eat some green thing. Well, where's that green poop coming from? Well, let's think about that. Okay, they are starting to get into this now. Johns Hopkins, well, here's what it says. She says that research suggests that digestive system activity may affect cognition, which is thinking skills, and memory also. This is an area that needs more research, something we hope to do here at Johns Hopkins, he says, this guy. Now, another area of interest, discovering how signals from the digestive system affect metabolism, raising or reducing risk for health conditions like type 2 diabetes. This involves interactions between nerve signals, gut hormones, microbiota, the bacteria that live in the digestive system, he says. Now, this is where I'm looking into this to try to understand what are the different bacteria species and where are they located in these different digestive regions, and what are the different colors that you see in the feces and the urine that indicate we have issues like this green poop. All right, let's just talk about green poop. Well, there's a whole bunch of different conditions that are indicated by colors, because colors are, as I have said a zillion times, from the transition metals. They can go this way, they can go this way. If they go this way, they change color. If they go this way, they change color. It's just what happens. As you increase molecules, they change colors. Now, what are the different possibilities? Well, they're talking about, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be something you ate. Now, underlying medical conditions. Antibiotics is one of the major ones. A recent medical procedure, bacterial infection. So we got antibiotics and we got bacteria. One of them kills them, one of them got too much of them. Now, why is your poop usually brown anyway? Well, usually brown color of excrement is due to the leftover mix of dead red blood cells. Now that kind of intrigued me because I didn't think they were in your feces, but they are. And waste from the bacteria in your bowels. So the brown is from the red blood cells and the waste. Now, the bile in your intestines is usually a yellowish green color. But bacteria, now this is important, but bacteria add the rest of the hue. So it's usually yellowish green, but bacteria add the rest of the color to make it brown. Besides making your poop brown, bacteria perform vitally important functions, like helping you absorb nutrients for your meals. Obviously, it's green bacteria. They're missing something, and the bile is the issue, it appears. Bile is the fluid made in your liver and stored in your gallbladder. Fluid naturally has a green-yellow color. When bile combines with foods you eat, the bile helps to increase the efficiency of the pancreatic lipase, so your body is able to break down more fat from the diet. This allows more fat to be absorbed into your body in the small intestines. Now, then it says, however, your body must break down the bile so it can be extracted as waste. Normally, this is accomplished by traveling a pathway through your intestines. Sometimes when you have diarrhea or other stomach cramping, which means your bacteria has a problem, bile can't be broken down as quickly. The result can be poop that appears green in the tint because of the natural color of the bile salts in your body. So I'm not exactly sure of what the situation is here, but if your poop is turning green after you take probiotics, obviously something in the they call it dysbiosis. In other words, it's not harmonically balanced biology. You've got a dysbiosis. You've got some issue, whether you got too much of this or too much of that, or not enough, or whatever. And these are things we need to understand. But we're getting started. Now, Marguerite this lady is a fabulous lady, and anybody like John Jr. is just so fortunate to have her as his mother. Otherwise, things might not have worked out so well, and we're still hoping they're going to work out fabulously, but they are turning pretty good at this point. And I think there's almost literally anybody nowadays can be helped by working on the things that are in your gut. because everybody's been assaulted by vaccines. MMR vaccine is absolutely deadly to your stomach, bacteria. The antibiotics, they're giving them to kids like candy now. Well, now they're starting to understand how bad they are. But very young kids, they get them. They're headed for autism. And a lot of doctors literally have no clue about this. They just don't know. That's the killer, because it's so hard to get them to pay attention to anything other than what they had read. And what they read was literally wrong. And the chemistry of biology now is starting to be fully understood, and how the body transforms molecules using enzymes, using bacteria. And the gut apparently somehow is being instructed what to do by the brain, by some receptors saying, hey, we got an issue here, we need some insulin. It sends something down to the gut and says, hey, turn on these couple of little bacterias on there, turn them on for 15 minutes because we need some insulin. And it does it. Now, if they're not there to be turned on, you got no insulin. If the stuff that they have to break apart to make the insulin isn't there, you got no insulin. All in the gut. Okay, my friends, as you know, I've been saying Marguerite is the one that's going to change Ireland, and then she's going to change the rest of the world, because they're going to see what happens in Ireland. And this only goes back a few months. They said, could the gut microbe biome be linked to autism? They're finally starting to look. Now, they're hoping to understand whether the microbes in our gut have a role in this disorder. I'm going to tell you they do, for sure. Now, this is a kid, a child with autism, and he can't communicate, so he's using symbols. Now, before Ethan reached his first birthday, it was clear that something was wrong with his gut. As a baby, he had been given several courses of antibiotics to treat severe ear infections. There it goes right there. Then he started to have the foul-smelling, acidic diarrhea, stomach pains, convulsion. Around the age of 1, he stopped with no more words. He stopped making eye contact, the whole autism disorder. And they threw their hands up and said, well, he's got autism. And he, everywhere he went, he did all the autistic stuff, put his hands over his ears, and he wouldn't be around crowds and everything. He started stimming and all these things. Now, and they have never thought enough to really look at this, and this is hard for me. So, but now researchers are revealing that in addition to aiding digestion, gut bacteria also manufacture bioactive compounds. Well, they don't really manufacture. Well, yes, they do. I'm sorry. The gut bacteria manufacture yes, that's exactly right. That help to orchestrate the brain function and social development and all of the chemistry. Studies show that children with autism disorder often have a mix of gut microbe that is distinct from that in children without the condition. This is just crazy to go any further without addressing this in the most extreme, immediate way. And then in the lab, the same thing. Animals' autism arose when normal species of gut bacteria are absent. They know this. In my mind, if I was in this realm, I would have this so covered. And they have to do this. I mean, it's just, this is unbelievable that it's not like a SWAT team hitting this. All right, now let's just talk about something simple, about how what is in your colon affects how your digestive system interacts with it. Because you need some bulk in your colon. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I will tell you right now. I went through a course of antibiotics, and it ended up I had to have surgery because I ended up having what they call fistulas, which means that it broke through the wall of my way deep down in my intestine, and they had to go in there, and they had to do this. Nobody warned me of a damn thing, and anyway, that's just a bad memory. But the second doctor that I finally went to, he said the best thing you can do for yourself is take Metabolism. I've been doing that every day since. But I also now understand about the probiotics. So I'm in pretty good shape, I think. Now, everybody's strapped for money. I know this is, and everything costs money. I don't know what to say. But you need bulk in your diet. You need some bulk to hold these things back, to let them be worked on. Otherwise, you're going to get this kind of green poop. Now, what do they say? They're talking about for constipation, so that, but it makes everything work. It makes everything flow. And this is the only one apparently that contains plant-based psyllium husks, 100%. Now, it said why the 2-week challenge? Because many dietary changes your body needs to take time to adjust. You may notice a positive effect immediately, or it can take up to 2 full weeks. Now, you can pick the Metamucil fiber you want, but you have to make sure if you use the powder, it's cold. You can experience a little bit of this or that in the first few days, but I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But it works once. It works for me. All right, now let's talk about what it does inside the system. All right, don't forget now. If you don't have digestive enzymes, you can't digest stuff, and those are the chemistry made by the bacteria in your gut. Now, what does that bacteria live off of? It actually lives off of that husks. It loves those husks. Now, digestive enzymes play a key role in breaking down the food you eat. So you need to slow that food down enough where it can work on it. So these proteins speed up chemical reactions that turn nutrients into substances your digestive tract can absorb. All right. So they are chemistry that breaks down and it speeds up that reaction. But it still takes time. So your saliva has digestive enzymes in it, which starts right away. Now, a lot of people have their tonsils out, which I have, and the tonsils do something. They create something. Some of your organs, including your pancreas, gallbladder, and liver, also release these digestive enzymes. Cells on the surface of your enzymes, your intestines store them too. It's called membrane-bound bacteria. That's the surfaces of your intestines. They're membranes. And the bacteria binds within those membranes. There's literally thousands of layers. And they live in there, and they do their work from there. Different types of enzymes target different nutrients. Amylases break down carbs and starches. Protease works on proteins. Lipase handles fats. See, lip is fat, pro is proteins, amyl is whatever, carbs. Now, there's certain digestive enzymes in foods you eat as well. See, natural sources, fruits, vegetables, other foods have natural digestive enzymes. Eating them can improve your digestion. Now, honey, especially raw kind, has amylase and protease. Mangoes and bananas have amylase, which also helps the fruit to ripen. These are the kind of things that you see and you can understand when you look at what they actually do to living things. They decompose them. All right, let's just hustle through it, I guess. So anyway, papaya has a type of protease called papain, avocado, sauerkraut. You're going to have to look up this stuff yourself. Now, then it goes into lactose intolerance. Well, you need an enzyme called lactase, and if you don't have that, it can't break down the lactose. And if you can't break down lactose, you end up with stomach, disorders. Again, you have to go to all of these stuff. Start doing your own research. Very simple to do. Now, there are 3 kinds of lactose intolerances. You're born with a gene that makes you lactose intolerant. That's what they say. the gene is most common in people of African, Asian, or Hispanic background. Now, I have also noticed that these groups are more targeted for this COVID-19. Now, is it, because there's a lot of issues here. There's social issues, obviously, there's poverty, there's a lot of issues with these unfortunate people, and this is, thank God, this is going to change from this absolute horrifying situation we just witnessed. And these are human beings. We're all human beings. And if you treat everybody like another human being... Okay, let me just put it this way. See the humanity in everybody, and life would be so much better. Anyway, these are the different types of problems you'd have. And then Crohn's disease and celiac disease. All of these are diseases of the gut. And these are not things that should be this much of a problem. And we've been using a primal defense, which is, it seems to be a very good probiotic. And Garden of Life, they say it's made by Hershey's. I don't know who it's made by. I don't care who it's made by. If it works, it works. And I don't know what's the problem with Hershey's. Everybody's poking at everybody nowadays. Now, HSO probiotic formula, this has, soil organisms in it as well, I believe. But it works pretty good. And this is the pills, and Marguerite was giving her son the powder. And the powder in the children's powder it has, in addition to the probiotics, it has inulin in it, which is apparently something that's very important for kids' digestive systems. They're a little different than ours. This is a little bit of a dial-in at this point. We don't know yet. Nobody's looked at this in the manner that we need to look at this. This is not hard. This is not hard. And Marguerite is the one that's going to change the lives of millions of people, because this can be done in a matter of days. Are you listening to me? This is my serious voice. This can be done in a matter of days. You can start to turn your lives around. All right, and Marguerite has dedicated herself to doing this. Now, I'm just sort of a nosy guy. I like to stick my nose into everything, and I'll do, I'll discuss things here and there. But I'm telling you, she's the one that knows what she's doing. So, and she's going to put it out in a data format so that, it's really not that hard. There is routine issues where, you have to do this on a regular basis. But I'm also going to tell you something. If she gets enough interest and we get enough people behind us that want to save these kids, we could end up creating a regime that would be literally like taking an enema, and the kid would just go home and live a totally normal life. That's what our final goal is here. Because that's all it is. You got to put that stuff back where it belongs. They're doing fecal transplants now, where they take somebody else's poop and they put it in another person, and the person gets better. I'm serious. And that is an option. Absolutely is an option. It's kind of a tough thing to swallow, but it's I'm telling you, this is what is necessary. Let me put it this way: you need the bacteria. That's the necessary component. How it's delivered, that is a thing that can be worked out, but it's got to be looked at, and it hasn't been looked at with any kind of depth that we need to do. All right, so Marguerite, God bless you, my sweetheart. And God bless John. I love you all. Okay, I just want you to see this so that you have some hope. Because when I first hooked up with Marguerite, they gave her no hope whatsoever. They said, your son is hopeless. He's done. Now, here's what she sent me. She says, you have no idea how much your work has led to helping my son. I can never thank you enough. All your research into all the different minerals explaining about the human body has given me enough education to teach others, and you know something. Even the psychologist of intellectual disabilities asked me, where did I train? Of course, I told them I homeschool myself on the best university in the world. Da-da-da-da. I can't wait to get out and discover what Ireland has to offer. She is going to be a benefit to Ireland that they will never be able to repay. I might be doing health programs. One day I might even have my own school. They should invest in her immediately. One thing for sure, I'm going to love every moment, working my way to achieve the new dreams you have given me. Heartwarming.